violence and other kind of violence.
Get away! I could be at work, at school, in my car, I can still get shot by the police. I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.
What's good, cyberspace? It's the Black Gen Z Mindset. Make sure you go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe, and let's get into the video.
A bizarre knock on the door at 5:30 a.m. Tuesday morning in Cyprus. One many people didn't answer, some out of fright, but one woman did. The Precinct 5 Constable's office says the twin 16-year-olds escaped their home in the Marvita neighborhood, where they had been held prisoner in handcuffs in their laundry room.
Wow. So you have these teenage individuals who were held against their will in their laundry room, and these look like nice houses in a nice neighborhood. So very weird situation.
No shoes, one not wearing a shirt. It was cold outside. They were desperate. This woman, who wants to remain anonymous for safety reasons, invited them in.
They were saying that they had just gotten here from Baton Rouge, I think they said. That they just moved here and that their mom didn't disclose the address to them, and so they didn't know where they lived.
Damn. So these kids pulled up from Baton Rouge, and I mean they ran into a lot of trouble. And it looks like these are son kids. So it's a very unfortunate situation. I know this is a very traumatic situation, and, you know, hopefully they can recover from this.
She gave them blankets and food, which she says they ate every bit of. They told her they hadn't eaten in more than a week. The woman called police. In the meantime, she says the children opened up about the abuse they had endured at the hand of their mother, Zaikiya Duncan, and her boyfriend, Jova Terrell.
Yeah, man. So, this is what happens when you bring another man in the lives of your children. As a woman, we're not going to let her get off the hook either, because she could have been the leader of this whole situation. It's obvious that they both were in on it to some capacity. So very, very horrible situation. And man, I heard about this story and I wanted to get into it, so that's what we're doing.
Even telling her they had tried to escape the night before.
But she got caught, and her mom beat her, hit her in the head.
The woman, who's an ICU nurse, checked out their injuries and took these photos. Swollen hands, fresh cuts to their wrists and arms. She noticed scarring on their frail bodies as well. You'll notice the handcuffs sitting on the counter.
They complain about feeling stiff from being in just one position in the laundry room.
The woman is still trying to process everything. Duncan and her boyfriend both charged with injury to a child. The woman who helped save them is angry.
And my question is, how the hell did these individuals get in that neighborhood in the first place? Like, do the sister got a good job? I mean, because it looks like that is a very affluent neighborhood, and I don't know, they just kind of look like they don't fit in. Maybe the sister could pass, but my brother here, he don't look like he really fit in, honestly.
Angry that it got to this extreme and that Duncan had custody of her children. Texas CPS said they had not been involved with the family before, but in Louisiana, where they had just moved from, the Department of Child and Family Services, according to court records, had been, even documenting past abuse.
Give these abusers life in prison, like murderers, because that's ultimately what it's going to lead to. And I bet crime would go down. Kids would not be abused because people would be afraid to go to prison for life.
Details about the teenagers who escaped abusive conditions in Cyprus. The neighbor who answered their plea for help is speaking out tonight, and a warning: some of the video you're about to see is disturbing. KPRC2's Brandon Walker's in Cyprus tonight with much more on the case that sparked an Amber Alert.
Horrified, hurt, abused, desperate. You're watching the moment two 16-year-old siblings took their lives and ran for help, finding a neighbor, showing the handcuffs they say their mother made them wear. We've blurred their faces, but what you see.
It was about 5:20-ish, 5:24, I think, is when they started ringing the doorbell.
And notice how it was a glider woman that saved these kids. Got two black kids being abused by their super single mother gremlin on demon time. And her boyfriend. And then look who comes to the rescue. Lois Lane.
Is what a neighbor saw when she opened the door and let them in.
She was wearing a hoodie. She reached into her hoodie and showed me the handcuffs and was like, we just escaped.
The neighbor asked that we conceal her identity. She says she called 911 Tuesday as the teens told her what they say their own mother had done.
She kept shaking and she was like, my mom's kept us locked in the laundry room, just scratches and bruises all over his arm. Both of them had severe scars around their wrist.
Louisiana State Police Tuesday arrested the teen's mother and her boyfriend in Baton Rouge. Zaikiya Duncan and Jova Terrell tonight are in police custody. Investigators say they fled the home they rented in Cypress with...
Okay, so they were renting that home. I wonder how much rent was. It had to be like 2 bands at least, right?
5 other children, prompting an Amber Alert. All children have been accounted for, including the 2 who couldn't take it any longer.
I have all kinds of emotions.
Anger being one of them because, as we've reported, Duncan in 2012 faced 3 counts of cruelty to juveniles. CPS with a documented case history.
The mother got a slap in the wrist and probation and did a little class, and then what did CPS do? Here you go, you're fit to be a mother now.
So you see, the system is broken. She had a history of this type of stuff, and they gave the kids back to her.
The neighbor says she hasn't slept much. Thoughts focused on the brother and sister, the teens for whom she opened her door.
Before they took her off, she looked at me and she said, thank you.
On the back end of that neighbor says that she told the children that they will always be on her mind. She says the investigators have their numbers and she just wants to make sure that they are okay tonight. We're live in Cyprus. I'm Brandon Walker, KPRC 2 News.
Another difficult story that we're following closely now. Twin teenagers who endured horrific living conditions in the Cyprus area until they recently escaped. Their mother and her boyfriend are facing charges. And tonight it is through their cases and court documents that we are learning more about the abuse accusations. KPRC 2 investigator Joel Eisenbaum is live for us now in Cyprus with those new details. Joel.
Lauren, you know, the most disturbing information contained within these court documents simply is not fit for television. We throw around the word shockingly a lot in local TV. But what's contained within these documents is authentically shocking. Behind the gates of this Cyprus subdivision, heartbreak and horror. As 16-year-old twins, a boy and girl, handcuffed, abused, and malnourished, have just made a daring escape from their home. The boy would later tell...
They got these kids looking like they from Africa up in here. I mean, bloated stomachs, looking malnourished, like they said. I mean, this is blatant child abuse. And this is a discussion that we don't really talk about in the community.
Police, he hid the handcuff key in his mouth. Can you please help us? The woman, a neighbor who did, talked to KPRC 2's Brandon Walker earlier this week.
She kept shaking and she was like, my mom's kept us locked in the laundry room.
And it sounds like it may have been much worse. From the new court documents, the children said their mom would make them drink, quote, chemicals such as bleach, Lysol, and would spray Easy Off oven cleaner in their mouths if they talked too much. The defendant...
That's disgusting. That is crazy. Let's run it back.
Kept us locked in the laundry room.
And it sounds like it may have been much worse. From the new court documents, the children said their mom would make them drink, quote, chemicals such as bleach, Lysol, and would spray easy-off oven cleaner in their mouths if they talked too much. The defendant would also pour bleach on the children, causing their skin to burn, including their genital area.
What? That is disgusting. This woman is... Oh man, she is a menace, bro. To do that to your own children is absolutely insane.
The mother and her boyfriend were arrested in Louisiana. Police say they appeared to be on the run. 5 other children in the family, ages 7 to 14, were found safe in that state. The mom, 40-year-old Zaikiya Duncan, had previous and extensive dealings with CPS in Louisiana. CPS in Texas is a wholly separate agency. Didn't and really couldn't have known the peril these kids were in.
When we see CPS and a problem happening across state lines, it's quite unusual that these agencies are going to talk to each other. Even law enforcement, they generally don't talk across state lines. So a case like this, it wouldn't be unusual for Louisiana to not have talked to Texas and vice versa.
And the very latest from Texas CPS tonight is that the 2 kids, this boy and girl, 16-year-old twins, are both in the hospital tonight. They are recovering, and the entire family, the kids, are in CPS custody. We're live in Cyprus. I'm Joel Eisenbaum, KPRC 2 News.
Not just shocking, but truly disturbing, Joel. Thank you.
I'm here on the corner of MLK and Frederick Douglass, where a shooting just took place. And as you can see, it's a pretty rough area. So I'm basically risking my life reporting on this madness. So make sure you do me a favor and hit the subscribe button. Like the video, hell, share the video. And make sure you go ahead and leave a comment down in the comments section to continue the discussion on how we can find solutions to all this son violence in the streets. I'm Janquavius Jackson, here live, reporting from Atlanta, Georgia, BGZM News 17.
A mother and her boyfriend accused of handcuffing her children, starving them, and holding them captive in a laundry room are set to be brought back to Harris County tomorrow.
Zaikiya Duncan and Jova Terrell were found in Baton Rouge after an Amber Alert was issued in Texas. Matt Doherty in Cyprus tonight with the video of the teen twins starving and begging for help. We want to alert you, the images you're about to see are difficult to watch. Matt?
Nobody could have imagined what was allegedly happening inside of this home. The kids who escaped described a life that is truly a nightmare. It's close to 5 o'clock on Tuesday morning. Home surveillance cameras show this pair of 16-year-old twins, a boy and a girl, who have just escaped. They spent more than half an hour going door to door, desperately seeking help.
You need some help?
Yes. Can you put some letters in, please?
What's wrong with you? What? What happened?
Please. We just need somewhere to be right now.
No, we can't do that.
Unsure.
You see who denied him? Who? Bruh. Whose voice did that sound like? And I would have done the same thing. I ain't gonna lie. I would have done the same thing. But this was a brother in this house. He said, no, we can't do that. If you can't tell by the voice, then you ain't been in the community long enough. But this brother denied him.
What? What happened?
Please. We just need somewhere to be right now.
No, we can't do that.
Unsure.
So you have this brother who took them, or who denied them, and then you have a Karen who took them in with open arms.
The circumstances, nearly all of the neighbors told the twins to keep moving. At about 5:30, the temperature was in the 50s.
It was exactly 5:27 in the morning when I heard the doorbell ring.
A single mother at home with her daughter was the first and only person to open the door.
I just knew.
And that's a huge risk, letting 2 son teens in your crib as a single mother and a daughter. Huge risk, but it just shows how big this woman's heart is, especially for children. But I wouldn't advise you guys to do something like this. I would just say, hey, you know, y'all can stay on the porch and I'll call the police. You know, I'll get y'all some blankets. That's the most I could do.
They were kids right away, so I like quickly opened the door. I told them to come in and I quickly shut the door and I locked it.
The woman, who asked that we not use her name or show her face, says she led the twins to her kitchen.
I sat them down, I brought them blankets, covered them up, and the first thing the little boy said was, "We're starving." Basically, we're saying, like, "We're hungry, you're gonna give me something to eat."
Looking at the 16-year-olds, it was obvious. After getting them something to eat, she started asking questions.
When the little girl was here standing, she was visibly shaking and was showing me her handcuffs. They would say, "We just broke out of these." They told me that their mom kept them locked in a laundry room, naked, zip-tied from the ankles and handcuffed from the wrist. They
Wow.
said we would pee and poop on ourselves. And they said when we needed to bathe, the mom would let them use the dirty mop water to bathe.
Damn, that's disgusting. Dirty mop water to bathe. I mean, why would she do this to her own children? This is unfathomable. Made them eat their own excrements. These super single mother gremlins are on demon time.
They didn't get a bath. They got dirty mop water.
It turned out Zaikiya Duncan had been arrested for child abuse in the past in Louisiana. Court documents show her children were removed from the home back in 2012. We asked Louisiana's Department of Children and Family Services why the kids were returned, but they told us state law prevents the agency from even acknowledging an investigation.
How can a mother do this to their kids? You know, how can a mother feel like this is okay to do? They deserve it. No kid deserves this.
We spoke with psychologist Dr. Whitney Krausen with Houston's Children's Assessment Center. She says children who suffer this kind of abuse can recover with the proper help.
Oftentimes we think there's no way they can possibly get through all of this, but children are so much more resilient than we give them credit for. Really what they need is just ongoing and consistent support.
In Cypress, I'm Matt Doherty, KHOU 11 News.
Now, we know this is an incredibly difficult topic to hear about, especially for survivors of abuse. If you or someone you know is in need of help, you can call any of these organizations on the screen. We also have these numbers and links to help, all at KHOU.com.
We've learned that the 40-year-old mother, her name Zaikiya Duncan, along with her 27-year-old boyfriend, his name Jova Terrell, they both appeared before a judge over in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And so we're getting this information from our reporting partners at the ABC affiliate over in Baton Rouge. They have a reporter inside the courtroom, and here's some information that she has shared with me. She says that both the mother and boyfriend are being held without bond, and Harris County has 30 days to extradite both of them back here to the Houston area. So both, along with 5 other kids, were at the center of an Amber Alert that was issued back on Tuesday. And eventually everybody was located over in Louisiana, and both of these adults were arrested. And so this is how everything started. These are the women's 16-year-old twins, a boy and a girl, captured at 5:30 in the morning on Tuesday, going door to door begging for help. And you can see there in the video.
And this woman here who is abusing her children, obviously on a power trip when it comes to her parenting dynamic. I mean, this is absolutely disgusting. The fact that she made them drink harmful cleaning chemicals and forced them to eat their own their own human waste is absolutely disgusting, insane, demented, sadistic, sick. I mean, she's everything under the book. And her and her boyfriend should get life, I think, for this. This is OD. And if they'll do this to their own children, imagine what they'll do to your children.
One of them doesn't even have a shirt on, and it was pretty cold out that morning. And so it's unclear how long the twins were looking for help, but eventually a woman did let them inside her house, and obviously she was horrified at their condition. She took some of these photos, and she tells ABC 13 that these twins were hungry. They shared details of their abuse, and here's more of what she says they told her.
Everything. They did not hold a single thing back. They were saying that the mom had them in handcuffs in the laundry room, that they were not allowed to eat, that they I mean, I think they said they hadn't eaten over a week. The last time they ate was the Monday prior, according to them.
So both the mother and the boyfriend have been charged with injury to a child. And as for the twins, they are now in CPS care. The other 5 children that were missing, they since have been located. We don't have a lot more information about their conditions quite yet. But we did look into the background of the mother. And in Louisiana, she does have a documented case of child abuse stemming from a situation that happened back in 2012. As for incidents here in Texas involving these adults, CPS says that they have had no contact with the family. So of course this case continues to develop, and we'll be checking in to try and figure out when exactly this mother and the boyfriend will be back here in Harris County. Charlie Edsity, ABC 13 Eyewitness News.
Gang violence and other kind of violence.
So it is what it is.